Good evening. The time is 5:30 p.m. The Florida Department of Transportation welcomes you to the virtual public information meeting for the Resurfacing, Restoration, and Rehabilitation, or 3R, project at State Road 704, Okeechobee Boulevard and Lakeview Avenue, from east of South Tamarind Avenue to west of Flagler Drive. My name is Vinod Basnet, and I'm the FDOT project manager for the project. The financial management number, or FM number, for the project is 446-179-1-52-01. We appreciate your attendance and participation. The purpose of this public meeting is to share information with the public about the proposed improvements. The public information meeting also provides an opportunity for the public to ask questions regarding the project. Here with me tonight are the representatives from FDOT and the consultant project team. If there are any federal, state, county, or city officials who would like to be recognized, please submit your name, title, and affiliation in the question box, and you will be recognized later in the presentation. In the next few slides, Sharon Merchant, Public Involvement Officer for the project, will share a few items regarding the logistics for the public meeting process. After that, the consultant project manager, Joe Capra, will provide project-specific information. Sharon?
Good evening. My name is Sharon Merchant, and I'm the Consultant Public Information Officer for this project, as Vinod just stated. Vinod is the project manager, the DOT project manager. Joseph Capra is the consulting project manager. Harold Torjay is the roadway design lead. Nisar Khan is traffic control lead, and Jagan Katkuri is lighting and signal design. Slide 3. You can participate in the public information meeting using any one of the 3 options shown here. No matter which option you choose, the information presented will be the same. Virtual option on April 17, 2023, starting at 5:30 p.m. via computer, tablet, or smartphone using GoToWebinar. Attendees will remain muted throughout the meeting except for the question and answer session at the end of the presentation. Telephone option on April 17, 2023, starting at 5:30 p.m. Dial-in attendees are in listen-only mode. If you are calling via a smartphone, you will be able to raise your hand to provide comments during question and answer session at the end of the presentation. In-person option is on April 19, 2023, starting at 5:30 p.m. at the Mandel Public Library Auditorium, located at 411 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida 33401. Slide 4. For those who dialed into the meeting by phone and are viewing a paper or downloaded copy of the presentation, the presenter will announce the page number of the slide being shown. The presentation is available for download at the project website at www.d4FDOT.com/SR_704_RRR_from_Tamarind_2_Flagler.asp. Slide number 5. If you happen to experience technical issues during this meeting, please type in the question box on GoToWebinar control panel or send a support form at support.goto.com/contact us or call 866-890-8931 to report it, and staff will do their best to assist you. In the unlikely event this presentation crashes, a backup virtual meeting workshop date will be scheduled and registrants will be notified of the new date and time. Slide number 6. For online participants, the GoToWebinar panel should be visible in the upper right corner of your computer screen. To listen to the meeting, your computer or device speakers are selected by default. If you prefer to listen by phone, select phone call in the audio pane of the control panel and dial in using the information displayed. The blue arrow points to the phone call option. During tonight's public comment period, online participants may submit a comment in the question box. Once you have typed in your comment, Click the Send button to submit. The orange button points to the question box and the Send button. You will also have the opportunity to provide oral statements. The green arrow points to the Raise Hand button, which will let us know you would like to speak. Slide number 7. The proposed project is being developed in accordance with the Civil Rights Act of 1964. Under the Title VI of the Civil Rights Act, public participation is solicited without regard to race, color, national origin, age, sex, religion, disability, or family status. Persons wishing to express concerns relative to the department's compliance with Title VI may do so by contacting Sharon Singh Haigwan, Title VI Coordinator for the Florida Department of Transportation, District 4, or Stefan Kulikowski, the State Title VI Coordinator for the Florida Department of Transportation, Equal Opportunity Office. Slide number 8. Public notice for this public information meeting, including information on how to access the meeting platform, was provided in letters to property owners and tenants in the project area, a posting in the Florida Administrative Registrar, in emails to persons on the project contacts list, and other notification methods. Notice was also posted on the project website. At this time, we would like to acknowledge any elected officials that may be present. Sammy, please announce all elected officials signed into the chat box.
Currently, there are officials present.
Thank you. Thank you. Slide number 9. Before we begin tonight's formal presentation, we would like to take a minute to share information on the National Work Zone Awareness Week Safety Campaign. A work zone involves workers, vehicles, trucks, and equipment that can necessitate lane closures, detours, and moving equipment, and can last from a few days to several years. While work zone fatalities make up approximately 3% of overall fatalities and 2% of serious injuries, the safe and efficient flow of traffic through work zones is an ongoing priority for Florida's transportation and traffic safety partners. According to 2017 to 2021 statewide crash data, Florida experienced more than 53,000 work zone related crashes, including more than 356 fatalities and more than 1,904 severe injuries. So remember, watch, be aware, slow down, and save lives. Now I would like to introduce Joseph Capra, the Consultant Project Manager for the project, who will provide the project-specific information through the next slides.
Good evening. My name is Joe Capra, and I'm the Consultant Project Manager for the project. And we're going to start with slide number 10. Basically, we're talking about State Road 704, Okeechobee Boulevard, Lakeview Avenue project, which is located in downtown West Palm Beach, which is in Palm Beach County. The length of the project is 1.311 miles. The project limits, again, is from east of South Tamaran Avenue to west of South Flagler Drive. The construction start date is spring 2024. The anticipated completion is spring 2025. The estimated contract cost, construction cost, will be $3.8 million. Slide number 11. This is a project overview. The purpose of this 3R project, which is resurfacing, restoration, and rehabilitation project, is to extend the service life of the existing pavement and improve the safety along the corridor. This includes the placement of additional surface materials, asphalt, for example, and other work necessary to return the existing roadway to a condition of structure and functional adequacy. On the slide, on the bottom of the page, the top red line is Okeechobee Boulevard on the left side, and Lakeview Avenue is on the right side. This is westbound lanes, and as you can tell, they would go to I-95 to the west. The bottom red line is Okeechobee Boulevard, and this is an eastbound, these are eastbound lanes towards the town of Palm Beach. The map illustrates Tamaran Avenue on the left side of the drawing, or the west side, and Flagler Drive on the right side, or east, for the divided road, for this divided roadway. The project improvements include: number 1, repaving Okeechobee Boulevard and Lakeview Avenue. Number 2, they provide bicycle lanes or shared lanes markings, or commonly called sharrows, on Okeechobee Boulevard and Lakeview Avenue within the project limits. We intend to upgrade sidewalks and crosswalks with ramps to comply with Americans with Disabilities Act, or commonly called ADA. We will be upgrading the pedestrian signal post at Sapodilla Avenue, Rosemary Avenue, Quadrille Boulevard, Dixie Highway, and South Olive Avenue intersections. And last, we will be upgrading the lighting to better illuminate pedestrian crosswalks at Quadrille, Dixie, South Olive, and Flagler Drive intersections. Slide number 12. Slide number 12 is one of two slides. The first, as we describe the project site, you can see the black lines, they reflect the actual pavement improvements. Slide number 12 is a map that shows Tamarin Ave on the left side of the drawing to Quadrille Boulevard, which is on the right side of the drawing. And basically at Quadrille, we also have the FEC Railroad. You can see adjacent properties, the Kravis Center, the Convention Center is on the south side of the drawings, and the City Place Towers. The cross streets in this area are Sapodilla Ave, Rosemary Ave, and Quadrille Boulevard. Slide number 13. This is the eastern side of the project. The map shows Quadrille Boulevard on the west side to Flagler Drive on the right side. Again, the adjacent properties, West Palm Point, which was formerly called the Kent site, is on the left side of the drawing next to Quadrille. One Flagler is on the right side of the drawing next to the First Church of Christ Scientist. City Plaza, Palm Beach Atlantic University is on the south side of the project, and Phillips Point is on the northwest corner of this, or on the right side of the project. The cross streets in this area are Quadrille Boulevard, Dixie Highway or US 1, Olive Ave, Chase Ave, and Flagler Drive. The next 5 slides will describe the typical section and improvements through each of the sections. And we'll start with slide number 14. Slide number 14 is typical section 1. Again, Okeechobee Boulevard between Tamarin Ave and Rosemary Ave. The location is depicted on the map in the lower right side of the exhibit. The typical sections are shown and depicted in the middle of the slide. You can see the westbound lanes that are on the left side of the drawing. There are 4 roadway lanes, as you can see by the vehicles depicted on the drawing. There are sidewalks on the north side of the road. There's bike lanes, and you can see from the improvements, we'll be repaving the existing asphalt. We will adjust lane striping and crosswalks. We will have sidewalk repairs. The speed limit will be reduced in this quarter to 30 miles per hour. And in this specific area, we'll have pedestrian signal adjustments. The eastbound lanes are typically the same improvements. Again, there are 4 lanes in the eastbound direction, sidewalks, bike lanes, and so forth being proposed. The next slide is slide number 15. This is typical section number 2. Again, this is between Rosemary Avenue and Quadrille Boulevard. Again, you can see the location in the lower right side map of the project, and the typical sections are depicted in the middle of the slide. The westbound lanes are on the left side. Again, you can see by the vehicles there are 4 roadway lanes. There are sidewalks, there are bike lanes. Again, we will be repaving the existing asphalt. We will adjust striping, add crosswalks, add bike lanes. There will be railroad safety markings installed on the pavement. We will repair sidewalks. Again, the speed limit will be reduced to 30 miles per hour. There will be lighting adjustments and pedestrian signal adjustments. And again, those same improvements will be placed on the eastbound lanes, which are shown on the right side of the detail. Slide number 16. This is typical section number 3. Again, this is between Quadrille Boulevard and South Dixie Highway. The locations, you can tell, are on the lower right-hand corner of the slide in the map. The typical sections are depicted again in the middle of the drawing. The westbound lanes are on the left side. There are 4 roadway lanes, sidewalks, and bike lanes. Those are the westbound lanes. The eastbound lanes, there will be 3 roadway lanes, sidewalks, and bike lanes also be added to the cross section. Both westbound and eastbound improvements will be the same. Again, replacing asphalt, adjusting striping, crosswalks, adding bike lanes, adding railroad crossing markings, repair sidewalks, reduce the speed limit, lighting adjustments, and pedestrian signal adjustments. Next slide is 17. Slide 17 is typical section number 4. Again, this is South Dixie Highway to Olive Ave, and this is the location of this. These sections are depicted on the lower right-hand map, as you can see, and then we have the typical sections again in the middle of the slide. First thing to note is the Lakeview is the westbound lanes on the left side of the middle of the drawing. There are 3 roadway lanes, sidewalks, shared bike lanes. Again, replace paving of asphalt, adjusting striping, crosswalks, adding bike lanes. We'll be repairing sidewalks. The speed limit reduction will be to 30 miles per hour. There will be lighting adjustments and also pedestrian signal adjustments. And essentially, there'll be the same improvements on the eastbound lanes. Again, those are depicted with the 3 vehicles that you can see on the right side of the drawing in the middle of the page. Next slide is 18. Slide 18 is typical section number 5. Again, this is from Olive Ave to Flagler Drive. It's on the east side of the project. The location again is depicted on the map on the lower right-hand corner of the slide. Again, the typical sections are depicted in the middle of the slide. Lakeview Ave is the westbound lanes on the left side of the slide. There are 3 roadway lanes, sidewalks, and bike lanes being proposed. And on Okeechobee Boulevard are the eastbound lanes on the right side of the slide. There are 2 roadway lanes, sidewalks, and bike lanes proposed there. Again, the improvements are the same as the prior sections: repaving asphalt, adjusting striping, crosswalks, repairing sidewalks, and again, the speed limit will be 30 miles per hour. The next slides 19 through 25 are renderings of the repaved roadway section. They give you a closer look at pavement and striping. They show elevations of the adjacent buildings. And of course, there'll be roadway overlay pavement markings depicted on the plans. So the first slide, slide number 19, is Tamarind Ave to Sapodilla Ave. It's the western end of the project, and the view that you are looking at is viewing north. You can see Kravis Center on the north side on the left, and the small portion of the convention center on the right. Again, there'll be lane lines shown, sidewalks improved, and crosswalks, as you can see at each of the intersections. The next slide is slide 20. Again, this is depicting Rosemary Ave to Quadrill Boulevard. And at Quadrill Boulevard, you can see the FEC Railroad Brightline Railroad tracks. In this slide, you are viewing, and the view is looking to the east. Again, you can see lane lines, sidewalks, and crosswalks. Next slide is 21. And this is depicting Quadrill Boulevard to Dixie Highway or US 1. Basically, what you're seeing there in the middle of the site is the West Palm Point 10 site that will eventually have a building placed on it. Again, the Okeechobee Boulevard depiction on the right side is eastbound lanes. The Lakeview are westbound lanes. Again, the slide is looking to the east. You can see the pavement lines and the sidewalks and crosswalks. The next 2 slides, slide 22, is essentially Dixie Highway or US 1 to Olive Ave. And we've kind of depicted 2 perspectives of this. Essentially what you're seeing is this first one is view looking to the east. And basically you can see the lane lines and sidewalks and shared. This is where we have the Sharrows and the shared bike lanes. Again, this one has a little better depiction of Lakeview Avenue. And then the next slide, slide 23, is again the same section between Dixie Highway and Olive Ave. Again, you're looking to the northeast. And again, you can see the lane lines, and this area also has shared bike lanes and crosswalks. The next slide is slide number 24. Again, this is Okeechobee, this is Olive Ave to Chase Ave, and what you can see is Okeechobee Boulevard eastbound lanes and the lower side of the view, and Lakeview Avenue is on the westbound, is on the upper side of the picture. The view is looking northeast. Again, One Flagler Development is the site that looks up, that is the excavated ground that you can see on your right side. There are 2 roadway lanes on Okeechobee Boulevard, and on the Lakeview side, there are 3 roadway lanes, as you can see there. The next slide is slide 25. Again, this is looking west, and basically this is from Chase Avenue to Flagler Drive. Again, you can see One Flagler development site. You can see lane lines, and you see sidewalks and crosswalks. Next slide, 26, kind of gives you an example of some of the improvements we plan on putting on the project. One of them is upgrading the lighting to better illuminate the pedestrian crosswalks, and the installation of pedestrian countdown signal features is depicted on the right side of the slide. Next slide is slide 27. This depicts the construction the construction phase of the project, and you can see where the crossings are. You can see that's where the construction workers will be working, and the right side of these slides, or the left side, basically is where the lanes will be, the traffic will be in. All work will be completed in phases to reduce the inconvenience to the community. Temporary lane closures to build the roadway improvements will be completed during non-peak traffic hours. Pedestrian vehicular access to all properties will always be maintained. Sequence of construction in general will be, first they will install the work that needs to be done on the sidewalk areas, not the travel lanes, but the sidewalk areas. It will be completed during the beginning of the project. Items such as pedestrian signals, ADA sidewalks, and lighting improvements will be completed in that phase of the project. Then what will happen is they'll move the work into the roadway, and where they'll be doing milling and utility adjustment works that are in the lanes, and those will be completed in the travel lanes. And last but not least, when all the improvements are made that are under the asphalt, then they will resurface and provide signing and pavement marking will be completed. Temporary lane closures to build the improvements will be restricted. Again, no roadway lane closures will happen during peak hours, traffic hours. Access for residents and businesses will be maintained at all times. Again, sidewalk work will be limited to one side of the road at a time. Access to existing bus stops will be maintained. Any temporary relocation will be coordinated with Palmtran. The speed limit through the work zone during construction will be 30 miles per hour, and ultimately be that in the end of the project. Next 2 slides, slide 28 and 29, both reflect other work going on prior to the DOT 3R project. And this work will be done for the City of West Palm Beach Utility. This is work underneath the lanes that we'll be improving upon. Slide 28 is water main installation in Lakeview, and it will be built in 2023. It's basically between Quadro Boulevard to Dixie Highway. And as you can see, it'll lie in the outside lane of the traffic. And so there'll be some interruption to traffic in that area, but there'll be a maintenance of traffic plan proposed to avoid disruption. Slide number 29 is the replace of sanitary sewer lines in Lakeview. And again, that'll be built during 2023, 2024, and that's between Dixie Highway to Olive to Chase Avenue. Slide number 30. These are some development projects, most of it you probably know about. One of them is One Flagler. It's located at east end of Chase Avenue between Okeechobee Boulevard and Lakeview. As most of you know, it's under construction. This is an older picture. You'll probably see several stories already built there. It will be topped out in July of 2023, and the work is expected to be completed in June of 2024. We placed the website on the drawing so that you can see and you can get project status at any time. On the right side of the slide, you'll see the West Palm Point project. That's between Quadrille Boulevard and Dixie Highway, between Okeechobee and Lakeview also. This is in the permitting phase, and you would need to see their website to determine the current status of the project. We understand there are also other items being planned in this specific area for such as replacement of sidewalks by private developers also. At this time, I'm going to turn the program back over to Sharon.
Thanks, Joe. We'll be on slide 31. To receive project-specific updates, please email Binod Basnet at binod.basnet@dot.state.fl.us to be added to the distribution list. Additional project-specific information can be found on the website. All project updates will be posted to the District 4 website. You can scan this QR code or go to the District 4 website project page. Okay, we're on slide number 32. Throughout the project, questions or comments can be submitted via email or phone. Again, you can email Binod Basnet at dot.state.fl.us. You can email him, attention Binod Basnet, PE, FDOT District 4, 3400 West Commercial Boulevard, Fort Lauderdale, Florida, 33309. Or you can call him 954-777-4146 or toll free at 866-336-8435, extension 4146. Or you can look at the project website at the email mentioned earlier and listed below. Slide 33. This concludes our presentation. We will now offer you the opportunity to ask questions. Online participants who would like to ask questions, please use the raise hand button located at the upper left corner of the control panel to let us know. When the microphone button is green, you are unmuted and ready to speak. Dial-in attendees using a smartphone can raise their hands in the app to ask questions. Dial-in attendees not using a smartphone are in listen-only mode. You may submit questions after the meeting online by email or US mail to the project manager. Online participants may also submit written questions through the question box on the GoToWebinar control panel. Sammy, do we have any questions for the team?
At this time, we do not have any questions for the team, and there are no raised hands.
Okay. This concludes the question and answer portion of the public information meeting. As a reminder, the public comment period for public information meeting will remain open for 45 days.
So let's wait for a few minutes to see if we get any question.
We now have 2 raised hands.
Okay, would you please ask the questions out loud?
The first one is from Jordan Rathlev. We're going to give him the permissions to speak. He is now unmuted. Mr. Jordan,
Hi,
can you hear it?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Jordan Rathlev on behalf of the related companies. I just had 2 questions as part of the plan that we saw today. One, the existing conditions at the intersection of Rosemary and Lakeview and Okeechobee are today a decorative stamped asphalt. And I think the current plans show that that's just a striped intersection now. Could you elaborate in terms of the intent to change those existing conditions versus what the current are for that intersection?
Okay, for the record, Joe Capra. Jordan, yes, a good question. Currently, we have shown pavement marking and striping, as you can see on there, basically be a thermoplastic and high emphasis markings. But we understand that you would like us to look at the stamped asphalt that you currently have in that location. We will continue to look at that improvement. We understand that both you and the city participated in that improvement. Again, I think we just want to make sure that they will be maintained by the city, I believe, has a contract to maintain those. And if they want to continue that, we would have to look at that. Again, stamped asphalt is what is there on the crossing of Okeechobee Boulevard, and the side streets, as you know, are brick pavers. The ones that we're concerned about typically is the one across Okeechobee Boulevard. So we will continue to look at that and discuss that with you.
Thank you. And then my second question on the plan, the limitations, I just wanted to make sure we're clear in terms of at the intersection of Chase and Lakeview and Okeechobee. I know the city has a project that they're working on in terms of some improvements to Chase, and where the limitations of the asphalt as it turns north up Chase versus what the city has planned there for a brick paver system versus what's shown on the plans in terms of how far the line of delineation goes on the asphalt in Okeechobee and Lakeview versus what's planned on Chase itself by the city.
Okay, again, I'll respond to that. This is Joe Capra. Again, I understand that, first of all, Chase Avenue will be improved upon. I believe you're participating in that, and it'll be a curbless street, is what I understand. As you can see, I know it's probably not as much detail on the slides we have, but essentially we'll be going around the curb returns, and basically there'll be a crosswalk there. So we will be providing asphalt there and providing the crosswalks there. I believe after that point, then your curbless street will take place both north and south of Lakeview, as well as north of Okeechobee Boulevard. So our intention is to just do the work in the DOT right away, of course, which is again in that area, that's Lakeview Avenue, as well as Okeechobee Boulevard.
Understood. I just want to make sure that was clear as we're coordinating with the city, but I think the intent is clear there by what you just described.
We have another question from Anne Marie. Is FDOT contractor constructing the City of West Palm Beach water and sewer project?
Again, I'll answer that. This is Joe Capper responding. Currently, the City of West Palm Beach has asked us to design those water and sewer mains. We've provided that plan. Again, it's the utility department. And at this point, the plan is to have those lines, those improvements put in place prior to the DOT work that will happen in 2024. So for example, the water main, they will be planning those improvements in 2023. And you can tell that's from one block of the corridor, specifically in Lakeview Avenue. That'll be a water main improvement and putting in a new water main. And then the sanitary sewer line is essentially Chase to US 1, and that will be also built ahead of time. And again, those two improvements will be actually built by a contractor working for the City of West Palm Beach.
Yeah, just to clarify, when Joe said we are designing, that is not the DOT that is designing. Actually, it is our consultant designing for the city as a separate contract. So DOT is not involved in the design or the construction of that those water and sewer line. We understand that the sewer line is scheduled to be completed prior to our DOT project. Or the water line is, right? The sewer line may overlap, or the water line may overlap.
Now, the water main will be built beforehand, and we will be probably in the letting phase of the contract with the DOT contract.
Okay.
While we're still building some of the sanitary sewer line.
Okay. Yeah, so just wanted to clarify that it's not DOT project, but rather a city's project being constructed by the city there.
Okay, we have another question from Joe Gallo. Will sidewalks be installed on the north side of eastbound Okeechobee and similarly on the south side of westbound Okeechobee between Rosemary and Quadrille?
And we're going to have to go through that just one more time, maybe.
Could you repeat the question?
Right away. I'll repeat the question.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Will sidewalks be installed on the north side of eastbound Okeechobee and similarly on the south side of westbound Okeechobee between Rosemary and Quadrille?
So the first area again is Okeechobee going eastbound, the north side, correct?
Correct.
Correct. There is no sidewalks being planned in that section. Basically, from Rosemary to Quadrille, there'll be no new sidewalks being proposed in that area. And then the second part of the question was,
South side of the westbound Okeechobee between Rosemary and Quadrille.
and the answer to that is no, we are not building those sidewalks in that area also either. And those sidewalks, I believe there's a sidewalk there in the FEC Railroad that is missing, so that is not planned to be built in this project.
Okay. We have another question from Mary Small. Does the utility work require redoing the curb on the area of work?
So the improvements, the question is, does the utility work impact the curb of work? The water main improvements are planned to be in the lanes, the outside lanes, for that would be Lakeview westbound, and those are planned to be in the. They will be planned to be in the underneath the road at those locations. So the curb and the sidewalk should be able to be maintained. Okay, so they're planned to be in the outside, on the outside lane is where the water main improvements will be. Slide number 28.
If you go to slide number 28, I think we may be able to kind of see it.
Yes. So you can see, I hope everybody can see this, but essentially you can see Dixie Highway on the right side of the slide and Quadrille on the left side of the slide. And the blue line depicts where we intend to put the 12-inch water main, and it will be underneath the, basically the turn lane area at this, I'm sorry, the through lane area in this location. The sidewalk and curb should be able to be maintained in place at that location.
The next question is, why do I see so many barrels and cones in construction projects with no visible work in progress?
Okay,
And
so
that's from Ashley Smith.
Ashley Smith. Very good question. As you know, one of the safety items we mentioned in the first part of our presentation was talking about safety of work zone safety. And again, cones and barrels are important for not only the safety of the vehicular as well as the pedestrian and bikers out there, but also they also protect our workers. And so it's important to recognize that sometimes that you may see cones and barrels and so forth out there in the field. Workers are, they could be working at any time. It's considered a construction site, and it's very important that we protect all people that work as well as utilize the corridor. So sometimes you'll see them there, and sometimes you may not see workers. Again, it takes quite a bit of time to set those up and take them down daily. So sometimes they leave them in place, but at the same time, we need to make sure that they're in place for the safety of everybody concerned utilizing the corridor.
We do have two additional raised hands, one from Steve Perelman and Marty Martins. I will unmute Mr. Perelman to speak.
So there is a comment blinking?
We've already went through those. That's just
Okay.
Are there any further questions then?
No, there isn't.
Okay, this concludes the question and answer portion for the public information hearing. Vinod?
Slide 34. The recording of tonight's public information meeting and other exhibits displayed will be posted on the project website as shown on the screen. The in-person public information meeting for this project is scheduled on April 19th, 2023, Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. at Mandel Public Library Auditorium at 411 Clematis Street, West Palm Beach, Florida 33401. The meeting will be an open house format where the public can view the display board and ask questions to the project team. Additionally, at least a couple of weeks prior to the start of construction, a construction open house public information meeting will be conducted. More information about this meeting will be provided at a later date. Project construction team will be available to answer any construction related question at that time. Thank you for attending this public information meeting and for providing your input into this project. Time is 6:11 p.m. This concludes the virtual public information meeting for the Resurfacing, Restoration, and Rehabilitation 3R project, State Road 704, Okeechobee Boulevard, and Lakeview Avenue from east of South Tamarind Avenue to west of South Flagler Drive. Thank you again, and have a good evening.